how and why I chose the title The Funny Thing Is, we need to go back in history. Remember the year Billy Don't Be a Hero was a huge top 40 hit? Well, luckily, we need to go back much, much further, all the way, in fact, to 1454 or 1620 or early or late 15th or 16th century. I can't really say for sure because I'm getting all this secondhand. Anyway, sometime a really long time ago, about a decade before the introduction of books on tape, the Bible became the first book published for the masses. Who knew this amazing achievement would one day result in books with such titles as Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and Jesus for Dummies? Yes, it's been a long, strange journey. Over the years, as more books were published, it became necessary to name them. Today, just like in 1445, if you strolled into a Barnes & Noble, you'd need to know the title of a book in order to find it. I wanted to be sure, so I decided to test my theory in an actual bookstore. Bookstore clerk. Can I help you? Are you looking for a particular book? Me. Yes, I am. Bookstore clerk. Do you know the name of the book? Me. Actually, it doesn't have a name. Bookstore clerk. Please, leave my store. Interesting. Next, I tried the same experiment, but this time I asked for a book by its title. Bookstore clerk. Can I help you? Are you looking for a particular book? Me. Yes, I am. Bookstore clerk. Do you know the name of the book? Me. Yes. Do you have the complete illustrated history of cinnamon-flavored dental floss, the waxed edition? Bookstore clerk. Please, leave my store. Very interesting. So, what did I learn from my experiments? Well, nothing really. Yes, it did reinforce my hypothesis that a publication with a name fares far better than one without. But I wanted to do things a little differently to truly distinguish my opus on those crowded bookstore shelves. What if my book had a title like the Beatles' White Album? Just a color instead of a name. Let's say purple. I hope you didn't just say purple out loud, because if you did, you're missing my point. I imagine this interaction might take place. Book buyer. Do you have Ellen DeGeneres' new book? It's purple. Bookseller. A different one than before. It's called It's Purple? Book buyer. No, it's purple. The book is the color purple. Bookseller. You're looking for Alice Walker's The Color Purple? Book buyer. No, the color of the book is purple. Bookseller. Oh yes, we do have it. Go past the mauve section and you'll find the purple section on your right. If my book got popular enough, I reasoned, booksellers all over the world would start organizing their books by color. I thought it would be revolutionary, like that Prince fellow who just came out with his highly acclaimed novel, the book formerly known as Volume 1. Then I had yet another groundbreaking idea. I thought about that saying you can't judge a book by its cover. Well, what if, I wondered, a book judged them instead? I came up with a few judgmental titles that I thought would incite interest in my book. My God, you're boring. Or, you wouldn't understand. Or, it's over your head. Or, your mother swims out to meet the troop ships. Or, hey, you there, in the ugly shirt. The success of this idea would depend heavily on people valuing the opinion of inanimate objects. Wait 1 minute. Why does that book think I'm wearing an ugly shirt? The nerve of it judging me just because it's got on that ridiculous book jacket. Hey, Mr. Book, what's with the paper blazer? Going to the prom? Where's your cummerbund? But curiosity and self-doubt would soon set in. Judge me, will you highfalutin pile of parchment? I'll show you, I'll buy you and read you. Ka-ching! I also toyed around with the idea of a one-word title, like Madonna did. Her book was all about sex, so she called it that. I could call my book Funny, or Funny with an exclamation point, to show people I really mean business. Exclamation points are extremely useful. They give titles energy and vitality. Remember that book a couple of years back? Croutons! Exclamation point. Or the best-selling PVC piping! Exclamation point. Ultimately, my journey led me to The Funny Thing Is. I liked it because when you hear it, you know you're going to hear an entertaining story. Perfect for essays written by a comic or even a book on the state of Social Security. But it also has another meaning. It used to explain an ironic situation. Like someone might say, John just asked me for the money I owed him. Funny thing is, I already paid him back. In this case, it's not funny because John may have just forgotten that the debt had been paid. Or, if someone says, the funny thing is, When I deliberately set fire to the house, the couch was the first thing to go up in flames. Again, that's not funny. That's arson, and it's a felony. See how versatile it is? The finishing touch was the 3 dots after the title, the ellipsis, as we say in the book biz. My first stab at it was, the funny thing is, ... written out, but in the end I put real dots instead of words. The final result, the funny thing is. My hope is that this chapter has helped you have a greater appreciation for book titles and a better understanding of all the trouble I went through so you can walk into your neighborhood bookstore, sporting goods outlet, or pawn shop and confidently ask for The Funny Thing Is. The funny thing is, you probably already did. That was then, or then was that, or anyway, it was before now. Did you know we have 700 TV channels now? It's a wonder we get anything done. 700 channels. When did this happen? I can remember when I was a kid, we had 5 channels. And we didn't have a remote. You had to hate something bad enough to get up and walk that 5 feet to change a channel. And if that wasn't enough, you had to guess at the volume, because it was different when you were up close than when you sat back down again. That damn Bonanza. Those horses are so much louder when they run. It was a different time. It was a simpler time. We were so easily entertained. We'd watch anything. We'd watch a flying nun, a talking horse. We're so much more sophisticated now, watching people eat bugs and marry strangers for money. Almost makes you miss Mayberry, doesn't it? That was a great show. Andy Griffith. Nothing ever happened on that show. Nothing. You know, when you've got time for whistling on a show, you got a lot of time. Commercials used to be 6 minutes long, telling us how delicious cigarettes and alcohol were. Man, those people were happy smoking and drinking back then.